It will be Colorado's closest congressional race, and tonight the candidates running for the 8th Congressional District debated here on 9 News.
We asked Democratic Congresswoman Yadira Caraveo on the debate stage why she's changed her stance on immigration so drastically. And we unsuccessfully tried to learn Republican challenger Gabe Evans' position on Donald Trump's mass deportation plan. My co-moderator Marshall Zellinger's along now, and Marshall, with ballots arriving this week, voters in CD8 certainly learned some new information about the candidates tonight.
And in 30 minutes, no less, which is an instant when it comes to a debate. We started on immigration. Evans would not say if he supports Trump's mass deportation plan, and also would not say if comments Trump has made about minorities are racist.
When Donald Trump uses dehumanizing rhetoric about minorities and migrants specifically, what do you think of that?
So in the endorsement that Donald Trump gave me, he talked about securing the border. He talked about making our communities safe. He talked about lowering the cost of living. Those are the things that I'm focused on. Of course, I condemn any sort of racist sort of speech.
Just to clarify, when you say that you condemn racist statements, are you talking about those statements, those dehumanizing statements by Donald Trump?
I've always condemned any sort of racist statements.
Are you willing to say that Donald Trump's statements are racist?
I've always condemned racist statements.
Thank you.
Now to Caraveo. In 2021, she called on the Biden administration to divest from Immigration and Customs Enforcement and Border Patrol. Kyle asked if that's still her position, and we learned that Caraveo's stance on immigration topics just depends.
My constituents do not believe that, and so I would vote against that.
Is it still your position? Do you still believe that that's the right thing to do?
My job is to represent the 8th Congressional District, and that is what I'm doing every time that I vote.
In 2021, you sponsored a bill that allowed the state to award contracts to companies that knowingly employ people who are not in this country legally. Is that still your view?
I will vote in keeping with what the constituents of the 8th District want me to.
Back to Evans, something you may not know about him. He's a member of the Heritage Defense, a Christian group that defends parents accused of corporal punishment, beating their kids. When Kyle asked, when is it appropriate to hit a child at home or school, Evans' answer was to reference the state law that has exceptions for parents using physical force on children.
How about public school? When is it appropriate for a child to be hit in public school?
When we need to ensure that we are providing a safe place for our kids to be able to learn in our public schools.
And finally, Caraveo has a political ad that states she broke with her party to back tougher fentanyl penalties. Well, when she was a state representative, she voted with most of her party to lower the penalty for small amounts of fentanyl possession, and then voted with most of her party to reverse that decision 3 years later. She told me that the claim in her ad is about her work in the U.S. House.
I broke with my party in Congress on various votes, including one to increase the number of Border Patrol agents by 22,000.
A quick correction on what Caraveo just said. The vote that she referenced would have increased funding for 2,000 more Border Patrol agents to get to 22,000, not increase by 22,000. And that vote had more Democratic votes than Republican votes, as it funded several state departments. Kyle?
I mean, Marshall, what you have here is you have a race that polling says is a toss-up, and both of the candidates are trying to position themselves so squarely to the middle that they could crack heads with each other. Like, they both know that the voters who will decide this are more to the middle than Caraveo or Evans.
It is interesting to see a race where the candidates are trying to tell the voters, whatever you believe in, perhaps, I'm the person for you, knowing that there is a letter next to their name, and that letter is going to come out at some point with certain votes, and at some point you may have a stance and put your foot down and be like, I know you may believe this, but you elected me to make the decision, and here's where I stand. That's kind of muddy right now.
Yeah, it was wild to hear Caraveo come out and say something that a lot of politicians believe, which is, yeah, forget about what I think, I'm just going to vote what I think you think. That was interesting. Yeah. Marshall, thank you.